In today's video, I'm going to be ranking every Rockstar game from worst to best. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, there's no real bad Rockstar game. But when you're up against some titans like GTA and Red Dead Redemption, there are going to be some further down the list than others. So hopefully with this video, you can identify maybe one Rockstar game you either didn't know about or have never played, and you might go back and check it out. So anyways, let's dive into this because it's going to be a long one. We've got 25 games we're looking at today. At the 25th spot, Rockstar Games presents Table Tennis. So Rockstar definitely made this random one-off game as a test for what would be their Rage engine that powered Grand Theft Auto 4. Rage stands for Rockstar Advanced Game Engine. And so Rockstar designed a playing game with solid character models and physics governing the swing of the bats and the bounce of the ball. And eventually we saw that in Grand Theft Auto 4. So that's why I have it ranked where I do today. At the 24th spot today, we've got Smuggler's Run. So this was at the start of the PS2 Xbox generation. Rockstar basically created like a weird game that had bouncy car physics, and you basically had to like smuggle goods. That was the objective of the game. Eventually, and as you might recognize the name, we saw this turn into a Grand Theft Auto Online DLC. Now at the number 23 spot today, I have Smuggler's Run 2. Which I have ranked a little bit higher. I thought the second game was slightly better. Rockstar was able to improve on a couple of things. They were able to add more content, but at the end of the day, still not really one of my favorite Rockstar titles. The number 22 spot today, The Warriors, which came out in 2005. Now, this was clearly a passion project on behalf of Rockstar Games. And basically, they were just reintroducing a new generation to a movie that really came out 26 years ago. So this was an okay game, but it really wasn't all that exciting for me, just sort of like a beat-em-up style game, which really isn't for me. At the number 21 spot today, we've got the original Grand Theft Auto game. So there's obviously not much story here. GTA 1 was, of course, top-down. But it was the beginning, and even though I didn't enjoy it, you do have to appreciate what the game has ultimately turned into, from a really top-down mistake game mode to one of the most popular gaming franchises of all time. So at the number 21 spot today, GTA 1. At the number 20 spot today, Midnight Club Street Racing. That's right, the original. So you might not know that Rockstar has a pretty cool dedicated racing series of a video game. Now, they haven't touched it in a couple years, but Midnight Club Street Racing really started everything off. And it got the Midnight Club series up and running, and I just really enjoyed it. Rockstar have always done racing well. We see that in GTA. We see that in navigating in Red Dead Redemption. So this is something they've always excelled at. Midnight Club is no exception. At the number 19 spot today, GTA 2. So again, the second version of the original Grand Theft Auto game, still top down at this point. And this is one of the reasons why I didn't think it was awesome. It was still an improvement over the original Grand Theft Auto game, but it really wasn't anything, again, all that spectacular. There were some improvements made. It was obviously for a little bit of a different system because it had been a couple of years. But at the end of the day, still, I'm not the biggest fan of the top-down games. Number 18 today, Midnight Club 2. So improving on Midnight Club Street Racing. Again, we got to see new cars, a new setting, a little bit of better graphics and stuff like that, which is why I have it lower down on the list. Again, Midnight Club is a great series. If you haven't touched it or the last one you played was a couple of years ago, go back and grab it. I mean, it is a ton of fun to hop in there, customize some cars, drive around. You really get to appreciate just how good Rockstar has it when it comes to driving mechanics. Number 17 today, GTA London. So the reason I'm putting this one above sort of the others in the top-down era is because London was a really cool setting. And currently, it's the only GTA game that has gone outside of the United States, which is really cool and makes it obviously very unique, very rare, because every other game has taken place inside of fictional America. So it's cool. You get to see what Grand Theft Auto would be like outside of the US, albeit in a top-down version. The number 16 spot today, Beta Raider. So a game that I think if it was re-released today would probably be kind of popular. Beaterator is where you essentially created like your own beats. You basically became a music DJ. And like I said, Rockstar sort of released this at a time where maybe that wasn't necessarily the most popular thing ever. Now it almost sort of feels like it could be. So Beaterator definitely has an interesting vibe to it. It's definitely not for everyone. Again, another one of those like off-the-cuff games. But it was kind of fun. And if you're into music and music production, it's a really fun game. There's probably way better versions of that. But when it was released, it was kind of ahead of its time, which was certainly pretty cool. Number 15 today, Manhunt 2. So I have Manhunt 2 slightly worse than the original, really because this game just wasn't for me. Manhunt 2 was very scary, just like the original Manhunt, which I have at the number 14 spot. Now, this is Rockstar sort of showing their deeper, darker bad boy side, and I think that's a cool element, but for me, it was just creepy. Now, I personally don't like scary movies. I don't like horror films or anything like that, so that's why I don't have these as maybe high up on the list as you might, because a lot of people do like Manhunt, but for me, it's just not my cup of tea, so that's where I kind of have it right in the middle. The number 13 spot today, our first 3D era GTA game, and that is Vice City Stories. So I loved Vice City Stories, obviously going back to fictional Miami, Vice City, and this time you get to play as Victor Vance, and you actually get to play the game 2 years before the setting of Vice City, which was really cool. It gave you a lot of backstory, gave you a lot of insight, a new path to follow, which made Vice City Stories one of the better games Rockstar has come out with. I would love it if they did something like that today, like San Andreas Stories or, Los Santos Stories or something like that. That would be super cool. The number 12 spot today, Grand Theft Auto 3. So even though we had a mute protagonist in Claude, GTA 3 took us to Liberty City, and it was one of the best Grand Theft Auto games created, even if it was in the 3D era, which a lot of you guys might have missed out on, and it was sort of the predecessor to Vice City and San Andreas, but it's still one of the best games of all time. And also, given the circumstances of when they released it, what Rockstar was going through, it's a very impressive game. If you haven't played GTA 3, it's a ton of fun. I recommend you get on that. The number 11 spot today, LA Noire. So this game is one that Rockstar sort of picked up on like halfway through its development, but LA Noire is one of the best games of all time. I believe it was just remastered. I know it has like a VR version of it. It's really cool. If you're a fan of like detective shows or, crime thrillers, this is going to be the game for you. It also had a ton of memorable characters that I really like. And at the end of the day, it is still a free roam game. So Rockstar sort of give you the choice to go about and do whatever you want, explore, check out cool things, which just adds to the awesomeness that is that game. The number 10 spot today, cracking into the top 10, Midnight Club 3. So you can just see, as we're getting to the newer and newer Midnight Clubs, I just think they get better. Of course, it comes with more features, more car customization, more vehicles, better locations, in my opinion. Midnight Club 3 was awesome. It was just one of the all-time great driving games I remember growing up and playing. So that's why it is in the top 10. Number 9 spot today, Liberty City Stories. So just a couple spots ahead of Vice City Stories. I liked going back to Liberty City a little bit more. The story was interesting. The characters were interesting. The vehicles and stuff, super interesting as well. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact I'm a big sucker for Liberty City or something like that. Either way, huge fan of this game. Liberty City Stories is absolutely incredible. Our highest rated Midnight Club today, and that is at the number 8 spot, and that is Midnight Club Los Angeles. So sort of the newest one. Midnight Club LA is awesome. So obviously it takes place in LA. You can compare it to a lot of the most popular locations that you see around GTA 5 right now, and even in San Andreas. This is just a really great driving game, and it was kind of the last one they specifically focused on before, I would say, Rockstar Games really started to take off with GTA 4, Red Dead Redemption, etc. So again, if you haven't played any of the Midnight Clubs, you totally should, because they're amazing, and they're just really, really cool in general. The number 7 spot today, this is kind of a tricky one. I'm going to say the entire Max Payne franchise, but I'm sure most of you guys have only played the newest one, which is Max Payne 3, which I think is the best. So that's what I'm going to be judging the series off of. Max Payne is awesome. And even though it doesn't have that like total free roam element to it, it is a great game with iconic characters and an unbelievable story. And it sort of has an underrated multiplayer too, which a lot of people seem to forget about. So Max Payne is just incredible. Again, I remember that game the most just due to the characters. I feel like they were the best in my opinion. So that's at the number 7 spot. At the number 6 spot today, we've got Vice City. So this is where things might just start get controversial for a couple people when you start comparing the Grand Theft Auto games. I loved Vice City. The setting, the characters, how it was basically Scarface, the video game, the cars, just the hilarious nature of the game itself. Vice City was incredible, and it's probably the game I have the most fond memories of, as it's my first GTA game I ever played. I remember jumping on it over at my friend's house, and I was hooked on the series. Now, it might not have all the best features, but it was amazing for its time, and that's why it's at the number 6 spot. Just ahead of it, at the number 5 spot, we've got Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So GTA San Andreas and Vice City to me were really neck and neck. The things that separated these two games had to be the features, the multiple cities, the vehicle customization, the things you could do to CJ. That's what sort of set it apart for me. So at the end of the day, I still feel like I liked Vice City's setting and characters a little bit more, but San Andreas had way more to do. So you got a lot more bang for your buck, which is why I'm putting it slightly ahead of GTA Vice City. The number 4 spot today, Bully. So Bully is probably one of the most underrated Rockstar games of all time. It's also probably one of the best. I basically call it GTA for kids. Like, instead of stealing cars, you steal skateboards. Instead of doing heists, you steal someone's homework, or you sneak into the girl's locker room or something like that. It's just really fun, like really sort of childish stuff, but it's awesome. I actually have an entire Let's Play of it on my channel. I like it so much. So Bully is at the number 4 spot today. The number 3 spot today, Grand Theft Auto 4. So I have so many memories of GTA 4. It's probably the GTA I've spent the most time on. I can't tell you how many countless hours I played of that game, and not to mention the super casual multiplayer mode that you could jump on as well and have a ton of fun with your friends. In fact, it was the first official GTA game to get multiplayer, which I think is kind of awesome. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 4 is amazing, the first one in the HD era. It's hard to get much better than number 3. But slightly better than number 3 at the number 2 spot today. And this is where we might get some people upset. Grand Theft Auto 5. So Grand Theft Auto 5 is a masterpiece. And the sales of the game, the reception, the way people are still playing it right now, is a clear indication that that's the case. If you also package Grand Theft Auto Online into that, you're also getting an entire multiplayer mode that has been updated nonstop for the last 5 years. So needless to say, you get so much with GTA 5. Not only was it one of the best games of all time, but it's one of the best updated, well-kept games of all time. It's just an amazing project. So where does that leave us at the number 1 spot? That gives us the Red Dead Redemption. So I guess you could kind of throw Red Dead Revolver in here too. Red Dead Redemption sort of being the sequel to that. And obviously we're going to be getting Red Dead Redemption 2 soon. Red Dead Redemption was incredible. I mean, the wilderness, the wildlife, the characters, the sprawling terrain. It's incredible that that game looks so amazing still to this day. And it came out in 2010, so like 8 years ago. I mean, Red Dead Redemption's amazing. I'm so excited for RDR 2. And I think you would have a hard time arguing against it being number 1. You could maybe put one of the GTAs up there, but it's certainly like top 3, I would say, almost on everyone's list. That's for sure. But anyways, that right there is the top 25 Rockstar games of all time, ranking all of them from worst to best. I'd actually love to hear your list in the comments down below. Which Rockstar title do you think was the worst? Which Rockstar title do you think was the best? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, more in the comments down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.